So you're thinking of moving to Fort Worth, Texas. Well, in this video, we're going to be doing a map tour of the Alliance Gateway area just north of Fort Worth. And if you stick around to the very end, I'm going to teach you about a hidden gem they got up there. And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know what's happening in the Texas real estate market, go ahead and hit that bell. Welcome to the channel. My name's Jack Lisenby, and together with Tom Jung, we are your local DFW real estate agents. We get calls every day from folks just like you looking to buy or sell, so whether you're a few days or a few months away from your move, go ahead and give us a call. The easiest way to get a hold of us is actually to go down into the description box and check out the link for a Calendly, so that way you can schedule a call at your leisure. But today, we're going to be covering Alliance, and a lot of people don't know about Alliance. Even people in Fort Worth don't know about Alliance. They may have heard of it, like the Alliance area, Alliance Gateway, Alliance Shopping, but they may not know a lot about it, so we would love to be the ones to introduce you to this beautiful area of Fort Worth. So we're going to start off by answering the question, what is Alliance? If you haven't seen our Alliance video, I would highly suggest you go check it out. We'll probably have it linked up here in this corner. But if not, ironically, it's a logistical hub. So Alliance was a section of north of Fort Worth that was called that because of an airport that they have up there called the Alliance Airport. Now, the Alliance Airport was originally just for logistics. It was actually meant as an overflow airport for DFW International Airport because they had so much cargo going through there that they wanted to redirect it to somewhere other than the airport that was being used for pedestrian traffic. But it was so popular and so many people ended up moving there just for work because you have the obviously the airport, you have the railway up there, you have all kinds of warehouses and logistical hubs and things like that up in that area. So many people flocked to that area to fill all those work roles that it ended up becoming a hot spot essentially, and it has exploded in the last few years. So it's been a huge collaborative effort between these major companies. You've got Meta, Mercedes-Benz, Amazon, BNSF, the Santa Fe Railway up there, Bell Helicopter, and Charles Schwab, and then obviously a bunch of smaller companies as well. But these are some really big heavy hitters that all chipped in to make this happen. I know I said it's in Fort Worth, but Fort Worth is huge, and we're actually going to prove that right now because as you can see here, I have the screen open behind me. It should be somewhere in this area depending on how the camera is laid out. But as you can see, I've got Google Maps, and you see Dallas right here. We're going to go ahead and zoom in on that. Hopefully that's smooth in the footage. So everyone knows Dallas, of course, you know, the loud bigger brother to Fort Worth, even though, you know, we're still the 12th largest city in the US, you know, not salty. But if you head, let's zoom out a little bit. So if we head west, we're going to go across the Metroplex here, and as soon as Google Maps loads, you can see right here we have Fort Worth. And if we head up this road, whoops, out of the way. If we head up this road here, 35 west, and we go north, you're going to see right here in tiny little letters, Alliance. So now Alliance isn't its own city, and I know it has Gainesville on there. I think that's incorrect, but it's actually an area, and like I said, it's called that because right here you've got the Fort Worth Alliance Airport. Right next to the FedEx shipping center and stuff like that. Like I said, it's a huge logistical hub. Just south of that, you've got like the BNSF rail yard and everything, and a bunch of Amazon distribution centers. But oddly enough, right across the way, there is a ton of shopping and residents and all these other crazy industries that have popped up out of nowhere because of all the stuff on the western side of that highway. But to give you a good grasp of like where this is relative to other things in the Metroplex, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick directional search here on Google so we can take a look at it. So Alliance itself, its closest neighbor is going to be Elizabethtown. If you keep heading north up the 35, there's like the Tanger outlets, there's some restaurants and things up in that area. So some smaller industry if you're trying to get away from the Alliance area. So that's going to be, let's see, Elizabethtown. Yeah, like 2 minutes up the road, and that's a highway. It's like 70 miles an hour up there. You don't have to worry about going slow. You'll get there pretty quick. But the next nearest neighbor, major neighbor, is going to be Fort Worth. So let's go ahead and see what a drive time like that would look like. So from Alliance Town Center, you're looking at about 21-ish minutes, depending on traffic, to just to get to downtown Fort Worth. And I know a lot of the major shopping in Fort Worth is actually in the south area by Hewlin. So let's go ahead and take a look at how far Clear Fork is. Oh, you had it there. There it is. So if you're trying to make it to Clear Fork, because maybe you're a shopaholic, or maybe you're just trying to get out, who knows, it's going to be about 30 minutes. Traffic's pretty light right now, but it does have a little bit right there in the middle of town whenever you transfer off the 35. Pretty typical. So that's about what you're looking at if you're trying to make it there from Alliance. That being said, don't let it dissuade you, because Tanger Outlets is actually huge. It's right across from the Texas Motor Speedway. It's got Buc-ee's, if nothing else. If you don't know what Buc-ee's is, we'll have some B-roll footage up there. It's a gas station, but calling it a gas station is insulting, so we're not going to do that. You have plenty of options. You don't need to go this far. But if you're trying to make it over to, say, the DFW airport, because Alliance, unless you're flying cargo or private, you're not going to be able to fly out of there. So let's see. If you're trying to make it to the airport, you're looking at about a 20-minute drive. And then if we, say, want to go to Dallas is 40 minutes? 50 minutes. Well, traffic, it's about 5:30 right now, so that's a little heavy. It might be closer to 45 minutes to get to the center of Dallas, but you're looking at about 45 to 50 minutes probably. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, Grapevine. Yeah, if you want to go check out the lake. So the closest lake to Alliance is Grapevine Lake. It's a decent lake. If you have any low bottom boats or anything like that, like sailboats or anything with a really large keel, I would advise against it. It was an old spillway, I believe, and it had a bunch of trees. They just flooded it. Most of your stuff's going to be fine, but if you have anything really big, I wouldn't advise it. So Grapevine Lake. So yeah, if you go all the way around the lake like it's telling you to do, it's going to be about 26 minutes. But if you go to like Meadowmere Park, it's probably 15. I don't know why it's sending me all the way around. So yeah, Meadowmere, let's see how far that is. Yeah, 20 minutes. That's not bad. That's about what you're looking at. And that's mostly just because you'll have to, I mean, you can take the 114 over there, but this stuff is what's really going to slow you down, is going through those arterial roads there. But that's about where, those are the biggest things around where you're at as far as like travel time goes. So you shouldn't be looking at anything more than maybe half an hour to get to the most important things, unless you need to go to Dallas, in which case you take the 114. There's actually a train up in this area. I forget exactly where the train station is, but oddly enough, there's a train that goes from here across the way to, it's up here by the Parkland in like the Irving, North Dallas area. So it actually does have access to a pretty major transportation route, which for anyone who knows anything about the Fort Worth area, we don't have a lot in the way of public transportation. So I count that as a plus. So what is there to do in Alliance? I know we talk it up like it's God's gift in Fort Worth, and it might as well be, because this thing is amazing. But there's actually quite a list of things for you to do for how small it is. Like I said, you've got shopping out the wazoo. You've got restaurants galore. It's on the 35, which is a very nice highway. Like, you can get... It goes through... Oh, good Lord. I don't even know how far the 35 goes. It goes past Oklahoma. I know that. But it's like one of the huge arteries in the Fort Worth area, so you can get places pretty quickly by being close to it. So if we take a look at the map here, and you actually take a look at it, like I said, so here's the Buc-ee's I was telling you about. It's awesome, I promise. I know I said gas station, don't worry about that. You've got Texas Motor Speedway up here. You've got a bunch of stuff actually up in the Elizabethtown area as well. So another major landmark around the area, like I said, Fort Worth Alliance Airport. But if you come down here, you got a Cabela's, and if you don't know anything about Texas, white-tailed deer, we've got a lot of that up in the Biloxi area of the the northeast part of Texas, and actually closer to central Texas as well. There's plenty of white-tailed deer. So if you're a hunting fanatic or fishing fanatic, we got tons of that stuff. Your biggest one is going to be the actual town center. So let me see if I can get that up on the map. Here it is, actually. it's a lot further south than you think it is. So I know Alliance is up north, but we're going to talk about the fun part of Alliance first. So here's Alliance proper, and then if we come down, you see we've got Alliance Town Center. Now Alliance Town Center is it's honestly just a shopping center, but it's got a lot of stuff. So you can see here in the little preview image, you've got like a Cinemark, and I think they serve food at that one, which is pretty cool. You've got this medical area. It's not as big as the one down in the Magnolia area of Fort Worth, but for a quick access, like right there on the highway, right next to Alliance, you're like 5 minutes from Alliance proper. It's sufficient. Like this, I think it's a couple of medical. It's called Medical City Alliance, but they've got like a couple of centers in that little shopping area, or that little parking lot area there. You got a Costco, which is great. I mean, if you got a Costco card, that's like gold, honestly. Those things are awesome. If you've got a Costco card, hit me up. I need some bulk groceries. But you got like the Hyatt here, really nice hotels and everything for people who come to visit. You've got all sorts of like you can see the dots popping up on the map right now, like Best Buy, Kroger, Aqua Life Solutions. I don't even know what that is. Oh, pool equipment, of course. So as far as like shopping goes, you're set, and I guarantee on groceries you'll be fine as well, and food. But one thing I do want to point out, because maybe shopping and hunting isn't your game. If we take a little trip southeast of here, you see this giant green, like, vein-looking thing that's going all over the map here. This is it's Arcadia Park. It's called Arcadia Park, and it's not called that in any one place. It's just as a whole called Arcadia Park because, as you can see, it spans a lot. So down here, it's the Fossil Creek Golf Club, and that's actually pretty cool as well. But it goes all the way around here and all the way up into the heritage area and everything else. And this thing's awesome, by the way. We'll try and get some drone footage up in there. And I know it's a little dry because I took it during the summer in Texas. It's warm. But the park itself is awesome. So you've got probably like over 100 different ways to get into this park, because the park itself is actually surrounded by neighborhoods that face into it. And it has a ton of walking trails. It's got like playground equipment and exercise equipment all along it. It's got frisbee golf. It's got basketball courts, sports courts galore. Like there's a volleyball court, a tennis court, a bunch of pagodas, plenty of open green areas, as well as like more wooded areas for like the trails and things like that. And it's miles long. So I think there's almost 30, I think it's like 26 miles worth of trail just in this one park. It's ridiculous. But it's awesome. And they've also got a lot of water features as well. So a couple of creeks and some ponds and stuff like that. I don't think there's like fish or anything in there, but you get some ducks every now and then. It's pretty cute. But all in all, it's a really cool area, and all of these neighborhoods around here are also really cool, and we'll talk about those here as well. So now that you have an idea of where Alliance is, and what Alliance has to offer, maybe you're thinking of moving here, or maybe you just want to know what it feels like to actually live in Alliance. Because, you know, shopping's great, but you don't live in a shopping center. So let's go check out some of the residential area around here. And actually, I think the Arcadia Park area is a good place to start. So we're going to take a hop, skip, and a jump over to the MLS. This is what it looks like. This is the search page. I know it's overwhelming. There's a lot of text. We'll get to that. No worries. So actually what we're going to do, let's take a look at some of the ones that have sold so you guys can get a better idea of what people are actually closing on in recent past. So this is, we're just going to go ahead and start off at the last 90 days and zoom into that Alliance area here. So where to go? So you can see Heritage there, Coventry Hills and all that jazz. And then there's the Arcadia Park area. Wow, yeah, there's a lot. See? Plenty of people moving in this area. So let's jump into, let's check out some of these. There's a couple of them here. So these are more typical of like what you're going to find in this area. They're going to be like brick, singles, some double story houses, 2-car garages, usually 3 or 4 bedroom, 3 to 4 bathroom. They're pretty mid-range as far as houses go, but they're all very well kept. And as you can see, there's a small HOA fee here. They do have an HOA in that area, but it's mostly just to make sure that like everyone's taking care of everything. It's not invasive or anything like that. It's just the fact that whenever you're dealing with something like a neighborhood around a park like this, there is some maintenance that needs to be taken care of. They need to make sure that it's well addressed. But yeah, so you could take a look here. This one's a cute little house, single color brick. You're not going to see a lot of like fancy architectural notes or anything like that. Oh, this one's done up really nicely too. This is cute. But this is pretty typical. It's going to be like an American traditional home. Oh, this one has like a covered patio. Looks like they may have done that after the fact. Let's take a look at another one here. So we open, let's see, a 331, 342. So you can see that you can get into this neighborhood in like the low 3s, and I know some of them go up into like the mid 6s, but you're not going to find too much outside of that range. Most of it's going to be between 300,000 and 500,000. Here's one a little higher price point. Let's take a look at this. So again, single color brick house, no stone water line or anything like that, but it's still got like you got some architectural accents. They all come with trees and whatnot. That's pretty typical of a lot of newer neighborhoods. Is the HOA requires that they have X number of trees in the yard, which is nice. They've taken really good care of their yard and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be mostly like your neutral colors and everything. Everything's very bright and white around this time. A lot of people have started updating it, but as you can see here, actually I'm gonna back out of the photos. You can see here most of the stuff in this neighborhood started mid to late 90s whenever they started building, and they have some. I think they stopped building around like the late 2000s era. So most of your stuff is going to be late last century, early this century. So if you're okay with that style of architecture and design, you're going to find plenty of that here. Tax rate here, I believe, is actually still Fort Worth. So yeah, you can see here that almost 10 grand taxes. Yikes. But yeah, it's a pretty little house. These guys have done it up really nicely too. Photos are a little maybe overexposed, or I think they use too much flash, but the house itself looks nice. And like I said, this luxury vinyl plank and everything is coming back in. Most of your stuff's going to be granite or quartz. You may get some marble in some of the higher end ones, but it's not very typical. But these houses lend themselves in both directions. If you just need something simple, 4 walls and a door, they've got stuff like that. If you need something that you can really turn into like luxury adjacent, you know, whenever you take some, it's like those people who get like Civics and bust them out with body kits and stuff like that. Like, these still look like they go fast, but it's a Civic. This is basically what you're dealing with. It's going to be like your middle of the lane houses in a good way, but they are built in such a way that you can really make them something special. And I think that's what I really like about this area and that style of architecture in general. Let's see one more, see if we can find something interesting. Let's check a 300,000. There we go. We get one in the middle and the top. Oh, this was a 2-story as well. But yeah, as you can see, like, even between the $470,000 one and the $300,000 one, these they're all basically just single brick square houses. This one's got a single door instead of the double door. Still a 2-car garage. You get like this interesting little corner entryway thing. I like that. Yeah, they still got like I think that's an engineered hardwood. It's hard to tell from the photos. Oh, they redid the tiles and everything in the bathroom. But like I said, these guys, they've got kids, obviously. But like, they really made it their own. They've obviously done some customization. Wouldn't have been my choices, but these all look really cool. Like, it gives you a lot to work with, honestly. And I feel like a lot of people sleep on stuff like this because it really can just be something awesome. It's like a blank slate, and it's hard to see the color on a empty canvas. But I will say, like I said, beautiful area, and if nothing else, the park and all the amenities being that close to the Alliance area is a killer. It is something that a lot of people are striving to achieve themselves. But if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out the Alliance area. And like I said, my personal favorite, Arcadia Park. Go check it out even if you're not thinking about living there, because the park itself is just really cool. Well guys, as far as Alliance goes, that's about all you're going to need to know unless you want to go check out our other Alliance video. But since you stuck around to the end, I've got a little secret for you. So if there are any of you guys who are moving to Texas because maybe your state doesn't allow for certain types of weaponry, I've got just the place to try it out. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and punch this in here. There's a little shooting range right off of the highway there in Alliance called Shoot Smart, and you can see it right here. This place is awesome. So actually, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, sure, let's take a look at some of the photos. Like, this place is really cool. It's a very laid-back environment. It's not laid back in a way that, like, they're unsafe or anything like that. They're very knowledgeable people. They're very accustomed to the like gun lifestyle, if you will. But they're not like those overbearing people or anything like that. They're very relaxed. They're very personable. I think that's the thing. I think somebody told me one time, and this was really revelations for me, was the best engineers are not the best engineers. They're good engineers that can talk with people well, and I feel like these guys are kind of like that. They may not necessarily be the best shooters, but they are good shooters that know how to communicate with people who are not good shooters in a way that they can understand and appreciate. So phenomenal for like groups, because they have a nice little waiting area. They've got plenty of like rentals and stuff like that you can use, and on top of that, the ranges themselves are really good. So they've got like your typical pistol range with like the plastic divider. You've got the rail that goes back there, and you can pop paper targets and whatnot. Those are fine. What I'm going to suggest you do is get one of the suites. It's a cinder block walled off suite that you get for, you can reserve it for an hour, but it's like first come, first serve. And basically, once you're in the suite, you have it until you run out of ammo or money, whichever comes first. So they'll let you shoot darn near anything, shotguns, pistols, rifles, whatever, as long as it's not like steel core or anything like that. They don't really care. FMJ, yeah, talk to them about it. They are very relaxed about it, and honestly, the facility itself is a little underwhelming on the outside, but it's like the TARDIS. You walk inside and you're just kind of like, whoa. So if you're moving here because of gun laws, I would definitely recommend checking this place out. I'm telling you this at my own detriment, because I know that now a bunch of people are going to go check it out, and I'm not going to be able to get my range time in that I want. So don't ruin it for me, please. But otherwise, that's the place to go. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate you checking out the video. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment, tell us how we can do better, what you want to see, what you want to hear. And like I said, the subscriptions really do help us. It helps out the channel. It lets us know what you guys are interested in. But otherwise, as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm, call Tom,